I'll stay in English so that Amélie Maja, you can c'est bon pour tout le monde si je fais en anglais. Okay, so thanks Sebastian for this very nice talk we had in the 3 days. I make a little conclusion as a presentation of what we do with the PhD students, especially in Strasbourg, but also in the team we have also Younes, who was in Paris last year and who is now in Lyon for the SAIA graph major, which is a very nice idea for working about graphs. And these are the different people we work with. It's a bit a kind of visual chain between LRE and the iCube, where I'm also active, which is the laboratory at the University of Strasbourg, and where the PhD students are registered in Strasbourg. So, Amélie, you are here. Majed, Julien made their presentation yesterday, and Tom was with us most of the day today. Badis, Nida are also active in the project, and Rabi and Aline in Strasbourg, which is colleagues. So the challenge, what we are interested in is, the objective is that to address the fact that we have dynamic environments, so mostly IoT environments, but either in the context of networks, lots of evolution in the traffic, because we are always with new people, new traffic, new services, new devices to come, and it's very important to be able to adapt that. And we want to be able to identify as much large signal, very specific attacks, either so large signal attacks. And many make the examples of keylogging. This is with relatively large traffic, but there's still a lot of similar traffic, or more advanced persistence threats, which I have also extensively studied in other projects, even though not so much currently. And this led to a couple of lectures that I built the machine learning and security for the SCIA that we started in Lyon for the SCIA Graph 2. The Trusted AI elective is about how you can take decisions based on output from machine learning. If you are in critical systems, it's basically not possible to say, okay, I just put some machine learning stuff, I think that maybe Mark has made something and I need to cut his traffic because you have a lot of impact. So you need to be able to identify the conditions in which you can take automatic decision. And the course was initialized in a complex system course. And data protection that I'm running for 4 years now in the University of Strasbourg. So when we talk about AI and cybersecurity, the first stuff you're saying here, we're working more on the defensive side. Of course, you have has been extensively exploited for more so operational security and for the other example. Last example I can make my malware in 30 minutes with ChatGPT. So a lot of tests which have been performed with that. The one a bit older example was Deep Locker, which was a tool presented in Blackhat only a couple of years ago, 2018. Just tool which is able to identify to identify the system it's running on and adapt the attack and adapt the script it's running based on the discovery images on the system and more directly on the algorithm. If you are learning, you can attack the learning itself with a lot of work also on adversarial machine learning. How you can either escape or fake the learning. There was a very good talk by Shafiq Galbassan in the Gilbert Security, which is the community of security, which was last Tuesday in the campus here, which as training prize holder, and originally comes from cryptography, but works a lot of on machine learning, adversarial machine learning. Very interesting view on it, and very precise view on the attack model. So challenge, three main challenge, and this challenge that led me more to work more and more with graph. The first is you have an attack, how you can model it. Many steps about explainability, how you can model the stuff. So when you say, okay, I think I found something, so the security operator actually has the information to know what you need to do. So basically, the use case, you are in the security operating center. You have different levels. So first level, you have the SOC operator who get a lot of warning, and he must get the most important stuff to be able to react to important warning. But on the other hand, you need to have very broad information, all the data available, so that the level 2, level 3 can make deeper and often more manual post-mortem analysis. Once you see there's really a big problem, but you can get the stuff back. Of course, you need to be able to detect the stuff. This is of course always not so easy, and this is also very important that you can learn. So when you discover some attacks, you can inject stuff in the learning process, so that you enrich the model progressively until you are able to identify all the attacks quite rapidly. And all these different models work on that for more than 10 years now. And these different models, I feel that the graph part is actually a bit original. It's one of the historical topics of the chip, because was also one of the research domain of Robert, only for a couple of years, but it's really promising. Amlos as running example the UNSW IoT dataset. Basically, you have some kind of things which are you have cameras, device sensors, and on which you perform the attacks, and which are used as basis for sending malicious packets, malicious traffic, and the rest of the infrastructure is the attacker. You have the command and conquer servers, you have database, you have other machines who play the role of scanners, you have machines who play the roles of loader to inject the malicious payloads, you have specific server where you can find the malware. So there's the full environment which is used for this for these examples. About modeling, basically what is used a bit as reference is the European framework for trustworthy AI, which are the different properties we need to be able to bring necessary information that when you detect something, you can actually use the detection and act. We identify, know what the attack is, and all the information you need to react and to stop the issue. So basically, you have a lot of either blah blah stuff more on the legal part, which is also very important for the implementation, but not the core of the work of the teams. I would be not so efficient with proposing laws in the domain. You have the part of protecting the data itself, which is of course a full issue, which is not to focus on. And you have of course what the impact of both where the data comes from. So being fair in the data you use, and the impact of your application, but this is more the kind of application you develop as the algorithm, the question of the algorithm. What interests me is we want to have transparency. This can be a different model, and you make detection, which data led you to detection, which model led you to the detection, and which are the information you get from this model. That say okay, here maybe I get some attacks and killing some data situation and so on. Accountability, we want to have a specific detailed trace of where the problem comes from, and human oversight. We want to be able to provide the information, and so that we can be efficient. If you make a bit of history, attack graph is something that is quite old. The origin very static. You identify, oh, here I can enter on this machine, maybe even sending on PDF to all the mail address, and then somebody clicks, and then I get access on one. So this would be sending the PDF, for instance, and then I have access on one machine. This is somebody who has no right at all, but he can connect to another machine can connect to another, and then you get access to the Active Directory. And if you are quick enough, in half an hour or 1 hour, you get the pay of all the stuff. And if you're making a security audit, you come to the boss with his own salary bill, and so audit is complete, and you get paid, and you get the money also to solve the problem very, very quickly. Usually when you do that, you also wait 2 hours so as to make the impression that you work on it. You get a bit more time to get more information. Of course, you have detectors, information detector system, so attack graphs have been adapted so that you can also identify which part is subject to detection, which part is just so under the radar. And progressively, the stuff came. The idea was that this attack graphs that good, it's a very, very manual process. So started to be automated models, so knowledge model of the enterprise system of the different kind of attacker that you can extract from the infrastructure, from the architecture. You can extract the attack graph automatically. This is very interesting. The project adds you have no information about what is actually going on the attacks, on the traffic. So you have absolutely no detection, and you have no capability of reaction. So this good is that it can be a nice building block in the middle, but this absolutely does not bring us further, and is very tedious and very labor intensive for no direct outcome. So let's come back to graph. Very, very simple example, but to exemplify. If you have a very, very simple benchmark for IoT, here are the example of medical IoT. You have one machine which centralizes a couple of sensors, and then it is sent to the server. And here we have the case where we have the attacker, which actually make address proofing, and this makes necessary that for the graph we do not consider only the IP address but also the port. And then if you make the graph using not only the IP but also the IP plus port, of course, when you have the attacker who is coming in the system, you see that from the graph you visually see directly that you have the legitimate traffic, but then you have another branch which comes using the same IP and other and different ports. This is a very simple example of how the topology of the graph, the topology of the connection is changing, and you can visualize that. And what is very interesting with graph is when you use machine learning, actually you just consider the packets one independently one from the others, and you absolutely never consider the fact that machines are communicating and sending packets to one another. You do not consider the communication. You have a static list of the source IPs and target IPs, but you never consider the communication if you use just machine learning, which is really a huge limitation of the stuff. And this led us to the development of CyberGraph. This is for the first version. We get the novel version that was presented by Younes on Thursday. But detecting first, which we are enabling to visualize. This is the code is made here using PageRank. So PageRank actually maps the activity level of the different edges, and you see very quickly if you have a huge volume of traffic and unbalanced traffic. So here you see you have a huge traffic which actually pertains to some scam operation, and a wide range of different patterns that enables to identify simple non-attacks, but which enables to answer, okay, this behavior, if I had sent this kind of packet to this kind of packet, I know that this behavior was used in a lot of attacks. I don't know, maybe it's just something very legitimate traffic, but the information is very interesting to us because it's highly correlated with specific attacks. And on the right here, we have the zoom on one specific machine, because seeing the whole network is, of course, what you need to get the overview. But if you have a problem, you want to be able to focus on that. So this for the modeling. And when you get the modeling, actually, you can get greater insight into into detection. The first stuff I want to show you is when you make detection using machine learning, you can have very clean information if you have suitable features between malicious traffic and normal traffic. But there is one thing that you do not use is the information about who is suddenly communicating with who. And on top of that, absolutely you cannot model who is sending information with who and with several hops. So you completely lose the information about the potential sessions you have. Nonetheless, we can consider that the corpus of knowledge about machine learning and security is relatively stable. There's still a lot to do, but the main ideas are defined. Nonetheless, there's very few people who actually master the both, but quite a lot in the alumni of the PITA. We got a lot of SRS which have learned algorithms in the meantime of SCR, which have who went to security firms. So there are a lot of people using the tools. That's very specific, very specific knowledge, and which makes that is not so widely deployed. And most of the tools, we have a lot of tools performing very simple statistical stuff, but very few which actually really leverage full machine learning approaches for making detection. And of course, there's one main limitation that we're working with Julien is that you are absolutely not able to work with the fact that the distribution of attacks is evolving, which is named concept drift. You know that the attack of tomorrow are not the attack of yesterday. So you can find the ancient traffic. If you have attacks which behave exactly like the previous year, you will find them. But this is not the case. What's important for learning? So different metrics. I may need to understand a lot of metrics, so I will not go back on this. Just be careful to use. When you have attacks, you have very unbalanced traffic, so you need to use specific metrics. There's no meaning of using accuracy or stuff like that. You have balanced accuracy, which is a version which consider that the class of interest is very small. Because if you just in balanced accuracy, if you find you have 1% of malicious traffic, if you find nothing, you have 99% of accuracy. So actually, does not mean anything. So our point, we want performance in the detection, both from the detection capability, so balanced accuracy, and from the time, not to be too long. We need to be scalable because we have, of course, if you are monitoring traffic for core networks, you have a lot of traffic, so you need to have balance that scale very well, and you need to be explainable because we want that your sub operator have the information you need so that he can act very quickly. And of course, we want to consider interactions and novel attacks. And for that, and I make it short. We use the graph models and how you can use graphs for learning. There are several strategies which are used. One of the main approach, which is not quite stable, is you use embedding. Probably you already heard the name. Embedding actually, basically machine learning, you know how to embed vectors, which is good, but there's no graph. You're in Euclidean domain, graph, you're not in Euclidean domain. So you need to just to serialize basically the environment of each node. So basically, you make embedding, and in embedding, actually, for each node, you have the features of the node, but you also represent through a vector the environment, so the other nodes which are surrounding. And for that, you have this is a very static approach. You have two ways of doing that. Either with the approach which is called multi-hop neighboring sampling. So you make several hops and discover the environment, or you have more stochastic approach, which is the random walk, or you discover a part of the environment stochastically, which is more. Statistically speaking, more efficient, but of course, since you make sampling, your miss some information. And then you can serialize everything and inject it in convolutional network, and make the learning actually a almost normal machine learning approach, deep learning approach, but with graph data as inside. So I skip that, which is the detail, and go to an example that we did in the teams with students last year, which was a project by buddies who defined the whole chain for detecting phishing sites, and show that using the information about the connection between the sites and the proximity between the different phishing sites, you gain information which enables you to get to more than 99.7% of accuracy. So you're really more efficient than if you use a bit more brute force, more naive approach with random forest or K-NAN. This is actually more because you define the whole chain and you consider the interaction and the proximity between the nodes. And last part about learning, and I'll close with that. What we want is to be able to have the human feedback. So they are a bit older projects that the content is still relevant, but we have nobody currently actively working on that, which enables you to, when our set operator sees attacks and says, okay, this is really a problem. This was a statistical anomaly. So it was identified by the system like a potential problem, but here now it really matches an attack. So you can enrich, label it, and then use it to make enhanced detection. And we made quite a lot of experiments with using uncolony labeling. So with the pheromones, actually, for models from the genetic programming and genetic optimization world to learn from this feedback from the user, and to be able to improve the number of true positive, but while keeping the number of false detection quite low. And the last step we are working on is how we can deal with the concept drift. I talked about if you have how you can identify the new assets that are coming. And the approach that you take is, of course, we do not want to use blindly learning. We want to be able to identify which are the feature, which are the information which enable us to extract the information about the attacks, and then perform unsupervised learning. So we want to find the anomaly detection, so statistical anomalies. But if you run just a statistical anomaly algorithm over network traffic, you'll see very rare traffic with very rare services or operations that are performed less often, but everything, but not the attacks, because you just strange service, or you playing with a new tool for a quarter of an hour and then forgetting it. You get no information about attacks. So we've worked a lot with Julia for extracting which are the features which are important and which are correlating with the attacks, so that we can let unsupervised algorithms run, identify the traffic which is very different, but only for the features of interest, and then say, okay, probably tomorrow, if this feature still move, then we will these are higher probability that we have detected some attacks. So there's a progress we've made in 12 months. So the first, we managed to make the distribution of attacks shift a bit to the left, but there's absolutely nothing that enables to discriminate from real traffic. And now we have stuff which is really more discriminated here, using the isolation force score, and hoping that with this approach we'll get more concept drift robust detection. And next step is we can still match resolution first score against the stability, considering network-specific, so graph-specific metrics like the stability of the communities. So using community extraction on the graphs, so like graph theoretical models, and by matching the two metrics, we can still manage to remove some false positive. So basically, what you want for learning, so where it comes smart, so it's through human feedback, capability of making unsupervised learning and reducing false positive, with the objective of addressing the concept-based issues, which starts to be identified by the community, but so far nobody has a solution for that. So as solution, conceptually we move from the older models, decision trees, which actually, you make a bit, and even a lot of overfitting. So it's absolutely not flexible, but decision trees stay very efficient with regard to other algorithms if you have a stable environment. To the machine learning, which can identify a lot of behavior, especially if you have 40, 100, 100,000 dimensions, you can extract very strong correlation. To the graph learning, which actually just considers something which is for me absolutely necessary, is just to consider that the computer communicate together, that you cannot do with machine learning. And objective handling scalability, performance, explainability, which is the work of what we spend our weeks on. Okay, merci.
I've got one nitpicking and one question.
Yeah.
The nitpick is on slide 22, I think, where you wrote daemon with an A. And daemon with an A is actually a nice guy.
Not 22.
23. Sorry.
Here or after?
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want the bad guy, you need to drop the A. Etymologically, demon with an A, like you wrote it, it's a deity from that protects the Roman town, and that was used specifically for SD demons and Unix demons to protect your machine.
This is the meaning to make detector. Yeah, this is a detector under the form of a demon.
Okay, so okay. So I misunderstood.
Maybe it's more detector demon actually.
I have a question on slide 11 where actually you lost me completely. I didn't get the point of the example and the relationship to graph learning. So if you could explain.
Yeah, there is no learning. Yeah, here there is no learning because you have 2 points.
Right.
The point is just legitimate traffic on the top. Right. So you have one machine which gathers the sensors and send it to the server. Actually, of course, we will still have, in a hospital, we will have 1 server and a machine in every hospital room. But so more clients, but on 1 server. And what I just show is here, if you have a spoofing attack. Right. So you can just visualize the spoofing attack, provided you have the information about the Mac, because you have the topology of the graph which is changing.
Right. This obviously assumes that you see the whole network, which is probably never going to happen, I think.
Here you need to see locally the MAC address, so you have you need to see the traffic on the Ethernet cable or on the local cable. This Ethernet, this assumes for spoofing. This assumes that you have access to the local connection.
But people can also spoof MAC addresses.
Yes, whereas all the evaluation we did, you can always have armories, but the question of finding, covering fast, the fast cases stays very relevant. But of course, this is just really just illustrative to show.
Yeah. It's not really conclusive for me that you are going to be able to do something interesting with that.
Just for concept. The main idea of the whole project is to make a model based only on like attack research, or could it be ported to something else? Like probably, I was basically thinking that with machine learning of this scale, an interesting project would be to take the same model and try to find the most optimized way to route an FPGA node. I'm not sure if you know how FPGAs work internally. Basically, we have little nodes that can register states, like find state machines, and you have control nodes, and they have to be branched with another. And there's always a more optimized way to branch them. And basically, what I was thinking is, well, because here you're having a model that is monitoring traffic, so to port traffic to a distance between the two nodes or something like that. So I was thinking is maybe there's a way to modify this model to research in this area.
I would say that very often the optimization is another family of problems. But of course, for building the model itself, you get that the graph library could be a good start and useful.
You modify it and port it to something else, right?
Yes, of course. And we are working and checking the code so that you can the library not too far future. Other questions? Merci à tous. Merci de tous d'avoir été là.